YouTube! So the video is finally here. I've decided to do my own version of the internet support group, and it will be called Advice from Your Aesthetically Pleasing Mom, because one of you guys coined the nickname and a lot of people caught on to it. I think it's a cute nickname, so yeah, here's Advice from Your Aesthetically Pleasing Mom. So the first person that we have is Alessa, A-L-E-S-S-A, from New York. Hey, so am I. Twins. How can you handle anxiety? I'm kind of having some right now, to the point where I feel it physically everywhere. I can't do any hobbies except for video games right now. So I also have anxiety. I've been clinically diagnosed with severe panic disorder, and it took over every aspect of my life for a while. But one of the things that I've learned how to do is you have to force yourself to go out there. Physically force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. And whether that be reading a book, listening to music, going outside. But one of the best things to do if you're feeling like this is unplug. Whether it's for a few hours, a day, a week, just unplug from social media, unplug from video games. I know that video games might make you happy, but science has shown that the amount of screen time can actually mess with your brain. And because in our feeds we're always refreshing and there's always new information, and the new information comes very rapidly, that can actually overstimulate our brains to the point where we get very anxious, which is one of the reasons why many teens, especially nowadays, have really, really bad anxiety. It also doesn't help that the school system's kind of corrupt, but that's another topic. So I don't mean to sound like an old person, but social media definitely doesn't help. Now, I'm not saying cut social media out of your life in total. I'm saying if you're feeling very anxious, unplugging, going outside, hugging a tree, being a good old hippie definitely helps. It at least helped me, because I feel like not enough people get fresh air, and one of the things that definitely helped me when I was having terrible mental issues was starting to go outside and just learning more about myself. I kind of had a bit of like a spiritual awakening, not necessarily like a religious thing, but more like being very in touch with nature. So, yeah. Alright, we got Luna, age 13, from Virginia. I really like someone that goes to my school, but she's dating my best friend, and she knows I like her, and I think she likes me too, but she doesn't want to break up with her girlfriend, so I don't know what to do and I feel bad. Alright, take it from someone who has been the mistress or the homewrecker. If she's going to use you to cheat on her girlfriend, don't do it. It puts you in a very awkward situation. If her girlfriend finds out, it makes her very mad, and it will not only make her mad at her girlfriend, but it will also make her mad at you. You could potentially ruin this friendship. Talk to your friend and be like, yo, I really like you, and I think that you like me, and I don't know where this relationship is gonna go. And don't say like you have to choose me or her, but say, I don't feel comfortable being in the position that I'm being in. Like, if she's flirting with you and that makes you uncomfortable, say, I don't feel comfortable with you flirting with me or you being touchy-feely with me if you're dating somebody else, because that puts me in an awkward situation. Do not feel bad. This is not your fault. She is the one, I know that you like this girl, but she's the one who, in a way, is making this a problem for you, because she's dating somebody, but she also likes you, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having more feelings for multiple people at one time, but it can put other people in a weird situation. So just talk to her about it, tell her how you feel, but whatever you do, do not be the homewrecker, because trust me when I say this, it's not a fun time. Alright, we got Lindsay Ray, 13, from Scotland. Hi mum, so I got a kinda unique problem. I have a cousin, and he lives far away from me, and I haven't seen him in years. He's about 19, and he's gay. And well, I'm a lesbian. And I feel like if I come out to him, it'll make me feel more close to him, and it'll make me feel a little more comfortable. Yet, for some reason, I can't find the courage to, even though he's gay too. Do you have any experience with coming out to a family member or having some fear? Thank you for your time. Oh, you're welcome, Lindsay. Alright, so do I have experience coming out? Not at all. What are you talking about? So pretty much, my coming out was not really the best thing. I was kind of outed. Pretty much what happened was my mom was looking through my phone and she saw some text saying that I thought that I was pansexual, and she sat me down and she pretty much said to me, "It's okay if you are gay, just tell me what you're thinking." And I said, "I think I'm pansexual." She pretty much laughed in my face and told me, "You're no sexual because you're too young to be feeling those feelings." This made me have a lot of trust issues when it came to not only her and my family in general, but coming out to people in general. So I was very apprehensive with coming out to my family. Even now, I feel like when I come out or say that I have a girlfriend, it's just really, like, it builds up in me, and it's like I have to blurt it out, because if I don't, it's just like, I feel like I'm keeping something, I feel like I'm being guilty, but at the same time, telling people is nerve-wracking. Even now, even as I've been out from age 11, I'm now 15, like, even as I'm out pretty publicly, every time that I have to come out to somebody or just mention that I have a girlfriend or whatever, it's really, really scary. So I know what you're coming from, but keep in mind that your cousin is gay, so he's most likely not homophobic. You can either do it in a funny way, like just send him a gay song and be like, "Yo, I relate," or you can sit him down and have a serious conversation with him. Maybe not in person, because you said that you haven't seen him in a while, but maybe call him on the phone or FaceTime. I wouldn't do it over text, because text is a lot more impersonal, if that makes any sense. But I totally have experience with coming out to people. I totally have experience with that fear. And I know no matter what, this cousin will accept you. And if he doesn't, that's really hypocritical of him. So, yeah. Jade, 14, from Georgia. Hey, my problem is kind of normal, but still there. I have an obsession with reading. It's gotten to the point where I put it in front of everything. I've become so in-depth with books that I never notice my other needs. My parents refuse to see that I have a problem, and they say it's something I can control, but I can't. Any advice? I totally know what you mean by not being able to control your addictions. You have an addiction to reading. I actually know why this might be a thing. It's because the brain, it releases endorphins, which are like happy chemicals, when you learn information. And let's say you're learning new words, or you're reading nonfiction and you're learning something, that physically releases happy chemicals in your brain. And endorphins are what gets people addicted to things. Like, there's endorphins that are released when you do drugs. There's endorphins released when you drink alcohol, stuff like that. But for a lot of people, especially people with addictive personalities, that can happen. And scientifically, addictions to things that shouldn't be addictive are possible. Like, there's a YouTuber that I used to watch who was addicted to Coke. Sugar, scientifically, actually, there have been more studies coming out recently that sugar is more addicting than crack cocaine. Now, your addiction isn't necessarily as bad as drugs, but I can totally see why it would come in between you and other things. If you feel like you are reading instead of going out and talking to people, instead of being social, and it's like getting in the way of your social life or your genuine happiness, maybe talk to someone about it. If you have a school counselor, that doesn't suck. Talk to them. If you're seeing a therapist, tell your therapist. Maybe try to sit your parents down and give them examples on how it's interfering with your life. And if you need to control it really, really bad, take all of your books and lock them away somewhere. Just lock them away. And if that's not a thing that you can do, what you can do is every time that you feel the urge to read a book, just take a deep breath, take an exhale, try not to read a book for an entire week. Now, I usually wouldn't say this to anyone else, because reading, in my opinion, is a great thing. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. Reading has given me a better vernacular, and in general, it just helps to expand your brain and helps you learn. But in your case, if it's a problem, then you need to treat it like it's a proper addiction. I don't necessarily know the proper ways on how to stop an addiction like this. I don't have personal experience with book addiction, but you can look up things online about how to stop addictions, and yeah, that's my best advice. Anonymous. I think I'm in love with my friend, but they don't feel the same way. Alright, I totally know how you feel with liking someone and them not liking you back. I was in a very toxic situation where I had a crush on my best friend, and He would manipulate me. He would tease me about liking him. He would constantly toy with my emotions. He would get me to do things for him that I maybe didn't feel comfortable with. Not sexually, but like asking him asking me questions and doing certain things. Not sexual or physical, don't worry. He didn't violate me. Maybe talk to your friend. Talking is always the best way to solve an issue. If you just talk to your friend and be like, hey, I like you. Don't say, I think I'm in love. But say, hey, I really like you, and I know that you don't feel the same way about me, so we need to set up some boundaries. Maybe one of the things that you can do about your friend is start to see their flaws, because I once had a crush on a boy, and I was infatuated with him, and I really, really liked him. But then, after a while, after a few years, I started to see that he wasn't perfect. Started to see his flaws, and there's nothing wrong with having flaws. Flaws don't make you unlovable. But I started to realize that I had issues and he had issues, and instead of focusing on dating, we had to focus on bettering ourselves. And we both had to heal from trauma that we had dealt with. We both had to deal with that, and I kind of realized that he had too many problems for me to try to take care of him, for me to try to better him. So try to see that this person isn't perfect, that they have flaws, that they are human, they are not to be put on a pedestal. And another thing that you can do is to try to distance yourself from this person. Don't always hang out with them. Try to hang out with other people. The more you distance yourself from this person, the less attached and addicted you will feel. Going back to the whole endorphins thing, hanging out with people that really, really make you happy, release endorphins, and that can sometimes, if enough endorphins are released, it can lead to romantic feelings, or a feeling that you need to be with this person. This isn't always romantic. A feeling that you need to be with a person in order to be happy, which is unhealthy. That is very unhealthy. There's a difference between having a crush and being infatuated with someone. Now, you can both be infatuated and have a crush on somebody, but being infatuated with somebody isn't healthy. It's being obsessed, and having feelings for somebody is just having feelings. So if you feel like you're obsessed with this person, try to distance yourself. Not saying don't be friends with them, but don't hang out with them 24/7. That's my advice. This person's name is Alex. They are 15. How the hell do I stop falling for girls so much? I didn't even know I liked girls a year ago, and suddenly I'm liking them left and right. It's emotionally draining, and I'm tired of it.
Bitch, me too! The fuck?
No, in all seriousness, I totally get where you're coming from. I've been there, done that, and got the promotion. One of the things that you can do is, like I said in the previous question, you can try to distance yourself from the person that you are liking, that you're falling for. Realize that that person has flaws. You can't really help feelings, so like, let's say you have a crush on multiple people and you feel really guilty about it because society's all like, y'all gotta be monogamous and y'all gotta, you can't like more than one person. You can't date more than one person because that's cheating. Even though poly relationships are totally consensual, but whatever. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. But if you feel bad about the way that you're feeling, don't. It's natural. Liking people's natural. And if you're feeling guilty about the fact that you like girls, don't. It's natural. There are homosexual animals. I mean, I'm fucking gay. I'm a big gay. Like, it's natural. And it's totally fine that you like girls. Maybe talk to somebody like your parents, or if you don't feel comfortable talking with your parents, which I totally get, talk to a close friend or a teacher or an adult that can help you out. If you have a therapist, talk to them about it. If you have a school counselor that you trust and that doesn't suck, talk to them. And if you want to elaborate, you can always elaborate. Message me on Instagram. And yeah, that's the best advice that I can give for this vague question. Aspen, 14, Tennessee. I feel like I'm butchering that, but I tried my best. Hi, so I'm very loud and open. I'm incredibly extroverted, and people seem to not like me for it. I do things to make me stand out because it feels good about myself, but nobody really likes it. Should I stop? Alright, so I totally get what you mean by being overly loud and overly being open. I overshare. I pretty much just word vomit everything that happened to me. And a lot of the times it makes people uncomfortable. So I've been coping. I've been practicing on how not to do that. Just think about things before you say them. Think about them for 3 seconds. Think, is this a good thing for me to say? Would this hurt anybody? Do I need to say it? Will this have consequences if I do say it? And if you ask yourself those 4 questions, you'll be able to filter out some of the things that you say. It's not always possible, but it is doable. Now, should I stop? This is a fine line, because there's a fine line between being yourself and doing things to make people leave you. Because if you're an extrovert, having people leave you, take it from me, somebody who is an extrovert and who has been a social outcast. If people leave you and you're an extrovert, that will put you in a terrible state of mind. Terrible state of mind. I'm not saying stop being yourself, but maybe learn ways to kind of scale back on the loudness. One of the things you can try to do is listen to other people instead of always putting your input, because I used to only put in my input and never listen to other people. And that, I learned, wasn't the way to be a good friend. Just, yeah, try to listen to other people. Don't always say what's on your mind, and just filter yourself. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, when you're older, that'll come in a lot of handy, because when you're older, people will expect you to be more mature, and if you say something, you just blurt everything out, that can prevent you from getting jobs, or can prevent you from making a good impression on people. And when you're older and you want to get a job, impressions are the most important thing. So, yeah, I hope that helped. Hey, this is Editing Finn here. What I forgot to mention is don't change yourself, but better yourself. So, like, don't change who you are as a person. Don't change your values. Don't change your attitude towards life. Don't even necessarily change the fact that you're loud and rambunctious. Just work on yourself to maybe not annoy those around you as much, who really understands you right now, but you will find somebody who does understand you and who you really, really click with and just connect with in the future. And yeah, that's all that really matters. You don't gotta be accepted by anyone right now, but you will find somebody who accepts you for you. So that's the most important part. Alex, 13, from Florida. Hi, so I take care of animals more than myself. I've began to love them more than anything in the world. I don't sleep, I don't eat as much as I should, it's unhealthy, I know, but I always just want to make sure they're okay, and my parents are starting to think I'm insane. Anyway, do you want to help me? So for this one, what I've learned is that you need to love yourself before you can love anyone else, or anything else in your case. You need to put yourself first, because if you aren't taking care of yourself, then you can't take care of other people and other things. Your mental health comes first, your physical health comes first, you come first. Doesn't matter what your situation is, whether you're trying to help everybody at school, or whether you're trying to help these animals, or whether you're trying to save your friend from hurting themselves. You come first. If you are not in a good mental space or a good physical space, you are not in the position to be helping anyone. And just remember, you don't have to do this. It's not your responsibility. You're not forced to do this. Now, of course, helping people and helping animals, that's a fantastic thing. But if it's getting to the point where it is preventing you from helping yourself, try to scale it back a little bit. As somebody who used to help other people instead of helping myself, I've learned that I need to put myself before anyone, and I feel like that is something that you need to learn also. You need to put yourself first, because you are the most important thing in your life. And this might sound really self-centered, but think about it. You can't put other people back together when you yourself are broken. Now, I'm not saying you're broken, but I was broken, and I was trying to put other people back together, and that didn't necessarily work. Even now, if I have an issue and somebody comes to me, I'll be like, yo, not right now, come to me later. So, yeah. If your parents are starting to think that you have a problem, maybe ask them to go to therapy, because therapy always helps. It always helps to talk about it with somebody. I'm not ashamed of this. I have a therapist. I've been going through therapists for a while, and I've now finally found a therapist that I love, that can thoroughly help me with all my problems. Talking about it with somebody, especially about an addiction, which seems like you're addicted to helping animals, is not a bad thing. Now, there's a huge stigma about therapists because mental health is considered something that is taboo. Even within the mental health community, referring to somebody as mentally ill is considered offensive, which it shouldn't be, because if you're physically ill, you're physically ill. There's no stigma about that. If you're mentally ill, there's stigma, and that's just a total double standard. It makes no sense. Anyway, I digress. My suggestion is to talk to somebody and to put yourself first. And if you are owning a bunch of pets and you think that it's gotten to a point where you can't properly take care of yourself, I hate to say this, but maybe you have to give some of them up to a family member and just have them take care of it for a little while until you can properly take care of yourself. Because again, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anything else. And that is my advice for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, message me on Instagram. That is @jellyofyourjello. It is the same username as It is the same username as my YouTube channel. So yeah, feel free to DM me, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!